Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to our current episode of Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam. Today we are going to see the Bhakti Rahasyam number 61 as was narrated by Thirukkolur Penpillai to Swami Ramanuja. This incident again, this narration has a link to the story of Ramanuja and the Chola king. We saw in that particular story where towards the end Kuresa loses his eyesight, Nambigal breathes his last, he attains the lotus feet of the Lord, and Kuresa performs the final rites of Nambigal and he walks back to Srirangam. Now, at that point in time, he is going through a lot of mixed emotions, painful emotions. He recalls all those things which happened in the court of the king, where he went in the guise of Swami Ramanuja. He was asked to sign a declaration. He refused. Then the gory act of losing the eyesight, and ending with Nambigal's final rites. Plus, he also is thinking about Swami Ramanuja. What would have happened to him? He left on a self-exile. Where he would have gone? How was he at that point in time? He knew nothing. There was no instant updates which he had access to. So all this led to an anger on Lord Ranganatha. So he felt that at that point in time, when he was missing his guru a lot, he felt okay, he should go to the temple of Lord Ranganatha in Srirangam and ask some angry questions, put some angry questions to the Lord as to what was happening, where is his guru, how he would be, why all these things happened, and where are these things going to end, when is he going to see his guru back. With this he marches towards the temple. Now, as soon as this incident had happened, the Chola king had issued kind of a proclamation that people who are associated with Swami Ramanuja should not be allowed to enter any temple in Srirangam. Now, he had all that false pride, ego, all that made him give such a proclamation. He was the ruler of the land at that point in time. Maybe with that power, he issued this order. So now Kuresa comes there. He is about to enter the temple when the guards ask him as to who he is and where he is coming from. So he tells that he is Kuresa and he is the disciple of Swami Ramanuja. So hearing the name Kuresa, the security guards talk between themselves that, oh, see, this is Kuresa, the great person, the compassionate person with great qualities. We should certainly allow him to enter the temple even though he is associated with Swami Ramanuja. Now, what are these great qualities? So let us divert a little bit from this situation and know more about Kuresa. Kuresa was a wealthy landlord. He was very rich at that point in time itself, thousands of years back. He had huge real estate, being the landlord, but he was always a devotee. So he used these wealth for the service of the devotees of the Lord, for the people who were in need. So he had earned that fame of being a great and a compassionate soul. There are many other instances in his life where he even cared for inanimate things like trees or for other creatures like frogs who were in distress. He felt the pain undergone by all these objects and creatures. So it was not only his heart went out to the devotees and the poor people, but it went out to the other life forms as well. But at one point in time, for furthering his spiritual progress, he just leaves everything. So he leaves all his wealth, he leaves all his property, and just with a single piece of cloth to cover himself, he and his wife, they detach themselves from all these material luxuries. They go out to Srirangam to reach out to Swami Ramanuja. They live off alms by asking people for food. So such is the greatness of Kuresa. He was a very great devotee and a compassionate soul. So these are the various things which the guards are discussing between themselves when they hear the name Kuresa. So they say, okay Kuresa, you can go into the temple, you are a great person. Now Kuresa's mind is just turning away from the Lord, because he feels that his Guru Swami Ramanuja, all his qualities, he is what he is because of Swami Ramanuja. Now Swami Ramanuja taught him the way to attain the Lord. Now if he is at the temple of the Lord, where he can go and experience the Lord, yet he was in such a place where his master was disregarded, he was shown disrespect. So he feels that what is the use of seeing such a Lord where my master has no place, has no respect. Thinking about this, he says, I don't want to see the Lord. I don't want him. Him is the Lord. This is what he says and turns back. Now this is the incident which captures Thirukkolur Penpillai's attention in her 61st Bhakti Rahasyam, where she says, did I say that I don't need the Lord like Kuresa, Kurattalvan as he is called. So if we draw a parallel between this incident, there are a lot of times where we are on religious tours, we go on visiting one temple to other, and if there is an instance where say a temple would have shut down because of say we went at the wrong time or because of some unavoidable circumstance, our minds start getting some kind of negative tendencies. Oh, I traveled such a great distance to see the Lord. Now when I have come to see the Lord, the temple is closed. Oh, does it mean the Lord doesn't want to see me? Have I done some sins? All these kind of negative tendencies start clouding our mind. Will we have the guts to turn around and say, like Kuresa, that I don't want to see the Lord? No. Yet Kuresa, in this circumstance, he was there, he was very much allowed to go inside the temple. Yet, because his Guru, his spiritual master, who showed him the path to the Lord was disrespected, he feels that there is no point in going and seeing such a Lord. So that was his mindset, that was his steadfast devotion to his Guru, which we can learn from this particular incident. So this is what attracted Thirukkolur Penpillai, and she benchmarks herself with this steadfast devotion of Kuresa. She thinks, am I Kuresa to say that I don't need to see the Lord? I'm just a normal human being. So what is the point in staying in such a great divine land? I'm no Kuresa to stay in such a divine land of Thirukkolur. So this is her lamentation. So this was the content of the Bhakti Rahasyam, where the key highlight was the devotion of Kuresa to the extent of disregarding the Lord. Now, some more on Kuresa, an extension of the story. So, this is not a part of the Bhakti Rahasyam, but since we are talking about Kuresa and his lost eyesight, now what would have happened when Swami Ramanuja came back to Srirangam? When he saw Kuresa, what would have been his reaction? So that we will just see here. So when Swami Ramanuja comes back to Srirangam, now the references are previous Bhakti Rahasyam, where Maruti Andan, that is another disciple of Swami Ramanuja, goes and conveys to him that it's all set in Srirangam, the Chola king is no more. Swami Ramanuja comes back to Srirangam. When he meets Kuresa, he is not able to control himself. He says, "Oh Kuresa, for me did you lose your eyesight? How can I repay this back to you?" For which Kuresa humbly he says that I have done this great act. It is just for you, my spiritual master. With this, Swami Ramanuja asks Kuresa to go to Varadarajan temple in Kanchipuram and pray to the Lord to restore his eyesight. It will be granted. This is the master blessing his devotee. Kuresa says fine. He goes to Varadarajan temple in Kanchipuram. He prays to Lord Varadaraja, not for his eyesight. He says, the person who caused me to lose the eyesight, let him attain liberation. See, again, this is one more incident of the compassionate heart, the greatness of Kuresa, where instead of asking things for himself, he was praying for the very person who landed him in this situation. So that person was sort of a minister in the court of the Chola king, and it was he who gave the idea to the Chola king to summon Swami Ramanuja and make him sign the declaration. If Swami Ramanuja were to sign his declaration, the other people following Swami Ramanuja's path would certainly follow what the king had in his mind. So that was the greatness, where Kuresa is praying for the liberation of the very person who caused this condition. Saying that, he goes back to Swami Ramanuja. Swami Ramanuja now learns that instead of getting his eyesight back, he prayed for the welfare of his enemy. Again, Kuresa may not have treated him as his enemy, but in the general world terms, this person who caused was Kuresa's enemy. So Swami Ramanuja is a bit angry. He says, I had sent you to Lord Varadaraja to get your eyesight back, and you prayed for your enemy. Again go to him and pray for your eyesight. Now at this point, note that your body is not your body, it is mine. This was Swami Ramanuja's words. Now hearing this, Kuresa got charged. He says, oh, this is for my master I have to do. If Swami Ramanuja wouldn't have said this, Kuresa again wouldn't have bothered for his eyesight. So he goes rushing to Lord Varadaraja and he says, oh Lord Varadaraja, I have lost 2 prized possessions of my master. Please give them back to me. So hearing this, Lord Varadaraja restores Kuresa's eyesight back. Now there is another version where Kuresa prayed that he needs to get his eyesight only to have a vision of his Guru and Lord Varadaraja. So that's one version. So here he gets his eyesight back and he goes back to Swami Ramanuja. Now Swami Ramanuja says, if Kuresa prayed for his enemy, prayed that his enemy should attain liberation, I as his spiritual master will definitely attain liberation because of getting associated with such a great soul. So that was Swami Ramanuja's words when Kuresa came back with his eyesight. So whose greatness is to be highlighted here? Swami Ramanuja, who helped his devotee get his eyesight back, and he felt that getting associated with this devotee Kuresa was the greatest association, or Kuresa, who did all these great sacrifices for his master and finally prayed for the liberation of his enemy. So simply salutations to Swami Ramanuja and Kuresa. That is all from our current Bhakti Rahasyam. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.